Hello and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 368 at scavengerlife.com.
Rain, I do not have any big ideas this week.
That's surprising.
But I do have a question.
Yes. Yes.
Kind of a backdoor.
You always have big ideas.
A backdoor to a big idea. So my question is,
right.
So we run a business on eBay, but the question is, are we supposed to? You know, the kind of store we run, you know, like when I look at eBay.com.
Right.
And how they like advertise and how they promote themselves. It's either like, you know, we're bigger than the kind of clean out your closet occasional kind of sellers.
Right.
You know, like you got a bunch of junk.
Your stuff off.
Sell online, you know, yeah.
Sell my old phone.
Right. And then we're definitely not like the big, you know, $3 million a revenue warehouse.
Right.
Drop shipper sellers from China factories.
Right.
Private label.
Right.
People.
Commodity.
Yeah. And, you know, and we're much more fragile than those people, you know, because those changes, it really affect us. And I do wonder, like, and I guess it doesn't really matter, but I do wonder if eBay thinks about our size of store and their strategies, you know? Because I've always felt like we've kind of hacked eBay.
Right.
To create this life we have.
Right.
You know? Like, you know, we're these weird people who are like the clean out at your closet people, but we've just kind of put it on steroids.
Right.
Where we're like, well, I won't just clean out my closet. I'll clean out everyone's closet.
Right.
And then I'm going to actually build a little warehouse behind my house, and I'm going to
sell yard sale items.
And I'm going to have 6,000 items on, you know.
Well, the quote here on your outline is funny. Did they imagine people would list 6,000 yard sale items?
Right.
And granted, some of our stuff is a little more high-end.
Right.
You know, rugs and art and furniture. But we basically find that stuff at yard sales.
Right.
It's not like and auctions and stuff, but it's like people's leftover stuff. So.
Yeah, and I only bring this up because, you know, the past couple of weeks, a lot of us have been talking about eBay. I think more than we normally do. Normally, I don't really care that much about what eBay does.
Right. When you say talk about eBay, not just selling on eBay,
right.
but like the internal workings.
Like the actual decisions being made at eBay. Normally it's like, I don't really care. Like, you know.
I'm still selling.
There's this corporation called eBay, and they have a bunch of like people who work there, and they're making decisions about their future. And I get that. That's fine. And I've always been just like, as long as this platform exists, and I can post things and sell them, then it's kind of like whatever.
Right.
You know, that's why I say I feel like we kind of hacked eBay that way.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know if that's the right way to put it. But just these past couple weeks, like someone on the forum came on, it was Rob. He was like, you know, he heard our podcast a week ago, and he says, you know, it sounded like pretty, it's negative towards eBay. And
right.
I don't think it was really negative. It's just last week we were just doing a list of all the issues that eBay had that has been affecting us with like weird policy changes and bugs and information not being processed correctly. You know,
it was critical, more critical than normal.
Right. So anyway, I don't know. I've just always wondered. I mean, we've never really talked to. I mean, I don't know why we would need to, but like talk to anyone at eBay. I just don't know what their thinking is, you know, about people.
Do they take us into consideration?
People like us.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people like us. Not. I mean, what's funny too is like there are different levels of people like us. Like you said, the hobby sellers like sell my old phone and my old like fancy shoes and whatever.
Right.
But above that are people who do this as a part-time job where they're like, I work part-time or I do contracting, or I work full-time, and then eBay's my part-time. Right. And then there's people like us who are like, well, eBay used to be our part-time, and it became our full-time.
Right.
But on a level that's, like, not as big as those, you know, big warehouse sellers.
I also wonder, too, like, what percentage of sellers are like us? These,
Right.
Kind of
like what's the graph?
Basically, mom and pop shops.
Yeah, mom and pop shop.
Way down at the very kind of like little tiny bit, or
are we the middle?
Yeah, no idea.
You know, I would love to see those kinds of like demographic, you know, information of sellers.
Yeah,
it's interesting to think about.
But, the good news is, so again, going back to Rob's comment about, our last podcast seemed kind of a negative towards eBay. And again, it's not, we're definitely not bashing, we just want, look, they have one job. Just keep the platform, just let me list, let someone buy it, and then I ship it. That's really, but I know it's more complicated. But the good news is, all those problems that have been happening seem to be just on the seller side.
Right, and that's, good news is a odd term to use, but, buyers are not having problems buying,
right,
is what you're saying.
Right,
which is good for all of us.
That's what I'm hoping. We buy things on eBay too, and it doesn't seem
I haven't been having a problem.
And it doesn't seem like there's any bugs when you're a buyer. They're not seeing any kind of problems.
Right.
It's all been on the seller side where quantities don't, views don't look good.
Views are messed up. Photos aren't showing up.
Yeah, things like that. So that's really the good news to me. And eBay did, interestingly, actually put out an apology. They have an announcement page, which I never go to, so a link to it, I wouldn't have seen it.
Right.
But where they just, acknowledge hey, we know some people have had this problem.
Some people,
I feel like they should just put that in our inbox, really.
Well,
that would be better, but
none of us saw it because they kind of hide it on an announcements page. I'd have to look at their announcements and see if it's your status suggestion, which I doubt it is, but it is funny where you're why didn't you just send me a message?
Right, just
they didn't want
just put it in everyone's inbox because a lot of us wouldn't have known to go to announcements.
I wouldn't have seen that, no.
And again, I'm just going to say this is the third week I've said it in a row, so I'll see if it's a magic thing.
Magic.
I would love for ebay.com/status.
Right.
And on that page would be a running list of the bugs and problems that eBay is aware of with their updates. That would be perfect.
So that I think part of it is, and that's why I love our forum, is that a lot of us are is it just my store? Is something wrong with my account? And then obviously you hear information from other sellers on our forum and on the eBay forums, I guess, saying it's a problem. And you're oh, good, it's not just my store's broken.
Right. And when something like that happens, people call in.
Right.
And we do that too. And then suddenly, no one can get through because everyone's calling at the same time. So again, eBay, do everyone a favor, including all your customer service people, and do ebay.com/status.
Because a lot of times too, even if you do get through and you're what was up with that problem, or I'm having this problem, they're I don't know anything about that. Really? The customer service reps don't know about it?
Yeah.
When you could just have a running status page where you're yes, this is a known issue.
To be fair, the people who are on the phones, they might work from home, or they're just in some other building. The people that will know first are the people who are running the website, and that information might not get to them very fast. So that's why, if the developers had access to ebay.com/status, then they could just put it up immediately.
It reminds me of our internet provider who constantly has issues in our area, and it would be
CenturyLink.
And it would be so great if they had a page where they're we know there's an issue in your area. They kind of have that, but it takes them a really long time to update it.
Yeah.
And you're we've had this problem for 10 hours. And they're oh, yes, it's a problem.
We're not talking about something amazingly new. It's just transparency is just kind of makes everyone feel better. It's kind of just when you fly on an airplane and the plane's going to be late. If the plane people come out and say, there's going to be, the plane's not coming for an hour, so everyone chill out. Everyone's cool.
They're great,
if they don't tell anyone, everyone's is it coming? What's going on? Do I need to get a hotel? Is it going to be 8 hours? Is it going to be 10? Just...
And we've seen that a lot,
Just tell me the problem.
So my expectations...
So then I can plan my life around that. So.
This morning, actually... You're president of our homeowners association, which is so funny.
Yeah.
And makes total sense. And so we turn the water on and we're like, the water pressure's low. And you and this other guy basically run the water system. You were prepared to answer anybody's questions on the phone and be able to be like, yep, we know about it. We're working on it. It should be fixed very soon, you know? Instead of like, I'm just not going to answer the phone.
Right. Yeah, right. Like, no.
I'm just not going to... And people are, knocking on your door and, like, all mad and don't know when it's going to be fixed.
Right. And is normally I've just found, like, just for anything, as long as you just tell someone...
We're working on it.
Acknowledge there's a problem that is getting worked on. I mean, they may be like, that sucks. But at least then they're like, okay, fine. It's being worked on. It's not an unknown problem that's being ignored.
Like, I was going to go take a shower and I turn the thing on and there's no water. And so I redirect my day. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do something else for a couple hours and then I'll come back and take a shower, So, yeah, it's similar.
Yeah, so anyway, that's... And I will never answer... I won't say that again. So that was my third time. eBay.com/status.
Yes,
you can have that idea for free. Okay, something a week ago that I was wrong about, Rob and TSAT both corrected us about... And I always confuse these things. Top-rated seller versus top-rated seller plus. I don't know why eBay, it's just, to me, I just can't always get my head around it, but okay, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Top-rated seller status is at the seller level.
Like, you as a seller, your username is top-rated.
Seller, right.
Right.
Top-rated seller plus is at the item level. So your item
meets all the requirements.
Can be top rated seller plus.
So let's do a
so real quick. So you have to be top rated a seller. Then you choose if you want to then jump through the hoops for your items to be top rated seller plus on an item by item basis. So
right. So for example, say I have a bunch of furniture and I'm like, people cannot return this furniture. That's not going to meet the criteria for the plus. I'll still have the badge, this is a top-rated seller. If I have some clothing, and I jump through all the hoops, the certain returns, and the whatever, and fast shipping, blah, 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 that's going to have the plus symbol, those clothes.
And I guess, and they both mean something in a different way. So the top-rated seller status badge that is on your user, right? A seller status. Right. That's supposed to make a buyer feel good.
Right. Like, this person communicates and ships and
they have a badge, so they're like a royalty or something. So the top rated seller status plus, the buyers don't see anything like that. The plus just means that you get that 10% off your
final value fee on that item.
Fees on that specific
like if I
item.
Sell furniture, I don't get that discount.
Right.
I do believe there is a plus badge.
Really?
On the items. I think it says plus because that's why it's confused me.
I don't even know that.
Okay, let's not.
So anyway, I just wanted to, that we had a thread about that, and that was a good way for me to understand it.
It's like wrap your head around that.
Is at the seller level. Top rated seller plus is at the item level.
By item level.
So it doesn't really matter, but there you go. Okay, Markdown Manager.
Yes.
This is something.
It's not called that anymore.
It's not.
It's called.
What's it called?
It's called promotions.
Okay.
And then there are different promotions like sale event / markdown.
Got it. So that's what allows us to put
stuff
things on sale. And eBay just implemented a new system when you're allowed to do a sale, and everyone was confused. I guess a lot of people complained.
Yep.
And eBay actually posted they're changing that rule because it had been you could only put your sale on for 14 days.
No. You could only start a sale after something had been listed at full price for 14 days. And it seemed that included
good till cancel
rollovers.
Right. So a lot of people complained. So now it looks like they changed it to where good till canceled, you could basically still do a perma sale if you list good till canceled.
Right.
So this is how it works. If you have a brand new item, you list it on eBay, it has to stay at that price for 14 days. You can put it on sale And then when that sale ends, as long as you don't change the price, it can go on sale immediately again.
Right.
And that could be forever as long as the price stays the same.
Right.
Those people who are ending their items every 30 days or whatever, that rule will
affect
exist,
you.
yeah. And, I was asking on a forum, like, so why, it just seems like really complicated. Like, why does eBay even care?
Right.
And people were saying something about there's, like, federal guidelines, rules, where it's, like, truth in advertising.
Yeah.
Like, you're not allowed to basically do what it sounds like a lot of people do. Like, they will list an item for $15, immediately put a sale on it for $25.
Right.
25 it's percent. And so it makes people feel like they're getting, and it's just like, it's kind of
that was
fake.
actually not the price. Right. Because I think there are, like, stores, I guess, I didn't really know this because I don't really shop at, like, regular stores, but, like, a place like Kohl's, I guess what they do is they're like, everything's always on sale, like, 30%, and they're like, well, that's not, like, if it's always on sale, then it's not always on sale, because that's not the real prices. So there were, like, guidelines. So people were thinking maybe it was that. It might be. I don't know.
But I think what's interesting, again, ebay.com/status. Tell us that. Like, I mean, like, why does the thinking behind a rule have to be a secret? I don't know. It's just weird.
I don't know.
It's just, again, it's one of those things where I just feel like we're hacking eBay in a sense, like, eBay does all these things. We don't really know why. We just have to kind of, we're just kind of like cramming our store into its whatever its crevices exist in eBay. And we're like hanging on the wall of eBay, hoping they don't take my handhold away and I fall off the cliff. Okay, so something Retro Treasures WV talked about, he saw this.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this.
It's on drafts. Okay. So if you, because, oh my God. Like, when you do listings, you're like, can you make 10 drafts for me? I'm like, are you serious right now? It is so easy to make 10 drafts. So anyway, you've never looked at that page. There is
Just to be clear, I am like a mix between a futuristic being
and like a little toddler.
And like an old grandpa. I am both those things. Sometimes
a toddler would probably be able to do drafts better than you.
Sometimes I am like an old grandpa where I'm just like, I don't want to be bothered.
Can you
set it up for me? Set it up for me and then I'll do it.
You're like, how does this computer work?
But I'm also like a futuristic person.
Okay, so anyway, on drafts, there's a button that says create copy. I don't really understand why it's cool, because for me, in drafts, I guess you could be like, this is a hat, create a copy. But for me, I always just bulk make, because you can do this now. You're like, make 10 drafts for these hats. You put it in the right category, you do whatever, say it's men's sports hats, whatever. They weigh 10 ounces, and then you have 10 exact same drafts. I guess if you had a very specific, like, piece of furniture or something, and you're like, make a copy of this.
So how is that different than sell similar?
Right.
I mean,
well, it's in the draft level. It's like behind the scenes, I guess. But so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, someone would have to come on and be like, this is a good example.
I will say, so on the forum we have a whole category where it's like what we want from eBay. And just people just, like, we're just like, they're almost like just placeholders of ideas. Yeah. One of those ideas is we've all talked about is like templates, like eBay to allow you to create like a hat template, and then that somehow will be at the top a level of drafts. Right. So when you go,
like, I'm doing 10 of these,
instead of having to find a hat, you're like sell similar, right? I mean, isn't that how we do it now? No.
I just said you go into drafts and you're like, create 10. It says create multiple listings. And I'm like, I want 10 listings. And I just go through the actual listing page and I'm like, put it in men's hats. Do the shipping policy of... No, that's not sell similar. That's making drafts from scratch. So it doesn't matter. Really.
Okay, real quick. Sometimes when I see it, you will make me 10 things, things I have to fill in. Drafts. It looks like they're made from other items.
It's just whatever. But
the categories are already filled in.
Because eBay just uses the last thing you listed. If it was like, a towel, it's like, oh, well, this is the last one you used. So since we have the most random stuff ever, mostly that you're listing, I'm like, well, I'm just going to leave it in that category.
So my point is, since if they allowed templates,
right,
you could just do 10 hats, and I'm like, oh, these are all hats. Like, everything's pretty much filled in.
That would be cool. They don't do that. I don't think that's what copy is.
Right.
But
so I wonder why they made copy.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know if you could be like...
Again, it's like where the villagers at the bottom of this giant mountain.
Right.
Where the eBay people are up at the giant mountain, and we've just awoken up.
And here's a new
There's
button.
There's noises, birds singing, and there's like a haze, like a foggy haze over the fields, and we walk out, and I'm like yawning, and I see something new on the ground, and you're just like, where did this come from?
I don't know what this
from
is.
The eBay guys.
What is it
and all
for?
The villagers gather around, and we're like poking it, and dogs are sniffing it, and then someone finally picks it up, and then we start trying it out, and then we have to figure out how to make this as part of our life.
Or ignore it.
Instead of just some guy coming off the mountain hey guys, this is what it is, enjoy it. Have
or
fun
don't
with
use it and don't care.
Or oh, that doesn't work, tell me what does work.
And we're like, oh yeah. That does not happen. Yep. Okay. Although I will say with that whole markdown thing that the 14-day good till canceled thing, people definitely complained about it and they changed it immediately.
That's interesting.
I just look, it's so funny. Yesterday, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I should just stop calling eBay because I tried to call eBay to ask them a question and I was on hold for 1 hour and they didn't answer. I was like, how long do I have to sit here? Yeah. I have Anchor support. I pay thousands of dollars a month for fees and can't get anyone on the phone.
Don't you know who I am?
It's not that. It's just why have Anchor support if nobody's going to answer?
No, I agree.
Although I will say this, I'm going on a tangent here. I talked to a rep last week after being on hold for 45 minutes. And I was like, what is the deal? And he's like, we're understaffed by about 25 people who are currently in customer service rep training for the next 3 weeks. So he's like, trust me, we feel it too. It's just...
I mean, I've worked in those phone offices. Yeah. It's before. And I mean, I think people might underestimate or overestimate their...
how many people there
are? It could
be
on any shift, it could be 25 people.
If
or
that,
50 people or something. I mean, for all of eBay.
Right.
It could be just 10 people.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, especially it's on a Sunday, it could be just Bob and Gina doing it,
and if they're on the phone with someone for 15, 20 minutes, everyone else is just sitting on hold forever,
When I worked at a CNN in the very early days, I would do extra work doing their phones. They had a
tip line or something?
CNN. I don't know why people want to call CNN, but they had a public hotline. And really, it would just be me and one other guy. And people just call in to complain about the news and stuff.
Really? So what would you do? You'd like, I'll let them know.
Basically, it was a lot of cranks, a lot of
crank calls, yeah.
I mean, cranks isn't people.
Who just you're I have
very
no idea what
connected
you're talking about.
to something I didn't understand about the news, but I mean, so and this was a big giant corporation, and there's two it was just me and Bob,
that is so funny. Wow.
Okay, let's talk about our numbers. And this is really what it all matters to us, all this hubbub and stuff. This is it. We're back in our Ryan and I have our own little hut in the village. Yeah. And this is where I pull out the box from underneath the bed and I open it up. With
the gold coins.
And we're counting our little rock nuggets.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we sold 25 items, so not a whole lot of items.
Oh my God.
Almost half, we sold half as much as we did a week ago, just about.
Right.
But we made about $1,400.
That's good.
I need 1,000. We made 1,400. Hey, there you go. Our second store, we sold 3 items for about $110 or so. So the little store, cranks along. Okay, things we sold. It was mainly just a lot of bread and butter stuff. However, 2 things I will talk about.
Yeah.
We sold a bunch of bandanas. for $300.
Yep.
That was the wow factor for us.
Yeah, so it was really funny because I knew these were vintage. I knew they were made in the USA. I was like, these are cool. I had no idea they would sell for that much. They're just bandanas. They're vintage bandanas. They're paisley. They have different, patterns.
Right. They're like those cowboy bandanas.
Yeah, it's just like, whatever. That's all they are. And it's like jeans and denim. There is a collector thing, Americana thing happening in Asia, and some dude in Japan bought them overnight for $300 full price.
Yep.
Great. There was
Amazing.
28 of them or something.
And ours were the highest price they had ever sold.
I priced really high because I looked at solds, and some solds were close to the 200s, and I was like, someone's going to be willing to pay more for these. If not, someone can send me an offer, and that's fine. So I guess I was right.
And these days, like, not a lot of stuff surprises us quite as much because if you've sold a lot of stuff, found a lot of stuff, you're like, I get that. This is one of those rare instances where I was really thinking about just donating these because I was like, they're just bandanas. Like, these are like dollar store stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing. We had no idea. Yeah. So, everything else is just kind of bread and butter stuff.
Shoes.
Yeah.
Purse.
But it made us.
Yeah,
living,
right. Exactly.
We hacked eBay. All right. Scavenge of the week. I know a scavenger of the week.
I always forget what our scavenger of the week
And this was you. So we went to just kind of, like a junky thrift store. Going through clothes. And Ryan found like all these those 1990s. Anyone from the South is going to know is what I'm talking about. Like 1990s like psychedelic Wrangler cowgirl shirts.
Like somebody might have like ridden in the rodeo or something. Like those are the shirts that I'm thinking of. And like in Virginia, they're kind of like you see people wear them, but not like in, real southern places, more southern places or like the Midwest. But I just like somebody must have donated their entire closet full of these. And we've sold men's, and I've sold women's, actually. I've sold several of these in the past couple of weeks.
I think they're cool. They're, like, super funky.
Super 90s. Yeah. Like, they've got the shoulder pads and everything. So, how many of those do you think I got?
There were, like, 2 bags full, so maybe 20-something.
20-something. Yeah. So, that was fun, because you could see them on the racks, like, from really far away. I was like, they were all spread out on, like, 3 different racks, and I would just be like, this one, this one, this one.
It's cool. I mean, these are shirts I will sell for what? $50, $40,
$40-$50.
Yep.
Each.
Yep.
I mean.
Yep.
Talk about a little.
And we probably got 20 of them. Maybe?
Yeah. So
not bad.
That made me happy.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, customer issues. So we had this week 2 returns.
Yep.
One was our fault. We sent the wrong jacket to somebody.
I mean, the fact that we have 2 identical Woolrich jackets with the exact same faux, shearling, white shearling inside, super annoying.
Yep. So
I sent the wrong jacket.
So that was our fault. So we're probably going to lose because we have to pay a shipping both ways. We're going to lose like $24 on that.
Because I said to the woman, I sent you the wrong jacket, but I'm happy to send you the correct one. She said, nope.
Yeah, I think she's
not happy.
She has that choice. Like, we screwed up, and she was having a bad experience, and she's like... And then someone bought a purse, she didn't like it, and she's just returning it. She's not saying it's our fault, because we have free returns on...
And we gotta
costs
pay for
us
it.
$6 or something.
Yep.
So, not the worst. So free returns hasn't, killed us yet, but whatever.
It's just kind of a bummer when someone's like, I don't like it. I'm like, great.
And then we did sell a pair of old vintage shoes, and Ryan was good. She picked them out, and then she noticed that the soles were cracking. So
some of these vintage shoes where it's like you didn't notice when you were taking pictures or they got worse over time, and just the rubber soles were like hard as rock, and I'm like, these are going to crack right open. So luckily it was only $12 sale. I messaged the person. I was like, I can send you a different pair. I can give you this much money off a new pair, whatever. And they were like, nope. So I just refunded them.
But they were good. They were like,
they were
thanks,
like, no. They were like, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
You know? So things like that happen.
Yep, it happens.
Sometimes.
So things we learned in the forum. We've talked a lot about things we were talking about. But one of the things we were really talking about, we're kind of still talking about it now, were long tail items. These items that are just slow to sell. Weird little vintage items, Not a lot of people want these things, but they do eventually sell. And so someone came on and was like, well, you can sell the things quicker if you bring the price down. Mm. And I was like,
you disagree.
That's not true. And so I guess the question is, do you think if you have like a $30 weird item, vintage item, like a hand-carved wood nut bowl.
Right.
That's my...
You love that example.
No tags on it, no name on it, no brand.
Right.
If you slash the price and put it for $10, does anyone think that it will immediately sell because like the price is the only thing keeping someone from buying it? Our experience is no.
Right.
Like we can put 25% a sale across our store and our sales don't like skyrocket,
Well, and the good example was when eBay had that messed up thing with you couldn't put anything on sale last week. Because I wanted to put stuff on sale for like 4th of July. We still made sales at full price. It was like, oh, stuff's still selling and I'm getting full price. So does it really matter?
I mean, I've always felt that sales are just something for us to make us feel good, to act like we're have some kind of power. But the reality is, I mean, there might be some price lowering that someone could do to spur sales, but I think it's a really small percentage, and it's small enough to where I think you could even argue that those items would have sold anyway. So
right. I know. Yeah, it could be true.
Yep. I will say, we're talking about a long tail item. So out of the 25 items we sold during the week, 7 items were verifiably
old.
Had been in our store for a long time. Like over 24 months.
And you could tell that because the pictures look different.
Just because I kind of remember them. And where we take pictures kind of tells us how old they are because we kind of move around.
I sold a jacket this morning that I was modeling, and you're like, we haven't done that in like 2 years.
And so those 7 items were worth $175. And, these were long tail items, and a lot of them sold for like $30 and $40.
Right.
And, if we had done that thing where, it didn't sell in 6 months, so let's just put it on, it's now $5 to try and sell it quicker. Yeah. I wouldn't have made this kind of money.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just our way of doing it.
What did you cook this week?
Oh no.
I saw some rice being cooked. I saw some oatmeal being cooked.
I do this thing where I kind of get into a groove where I'm just like, this is the thing I'm going to eat. Yeah. It's my jam. Not actual jam, but like a dance jam.
So oatmeal.
So I like oatmeal fruit.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yep.
And then I like rice and vegetables. That's been my two jams.
Especially with our CSA. I've been eating that stuff.
Yeah. So
I didn't really cook it. I didn't really cook anything.
Ryan did. I know better what she eats than she does.
What did I do?
You cooked lentils and made like a...
Oh, it wasn't lentils. It was
stew.
No, you're right. It wasn't lentils. It's chickpea. It's like butter chicken, but with chickpeas. Yeah. It's Indian butter chicken, but with chickpeas. And since our CSA gave us like a bag of green beans, I fry those up with garlic. And instead of using rice, because I'm not eating rice right now, I eat those together, and it's super good. So.
And again...
I did forget about
We save so much money by cooking at home.
Yeah, we cook at home.
And
as much as possible.
And I like to eat because it tastes better.
Yep.
Okay, our coming week, we are just listing. We've kind of got into a groove with our helper. We have a new... She's not new anymore, but our second helper who we brought on
in January.
Wow.
It was in January. It was like the end of January. Yeah.
She was kind of touch and go for a while. Like, we weren't really sure if she'd work out. She was kind of like dealing with family stuff. But lately, she's been coming pretty
regularly,
consistently.
Yeah.
And Ryan's done a really good job kind of walking her through and helping her. She's now kind of cranking stuff out.
Yeah.
So it's great. I mean, I love it. We just go and we put out like a box of stuff and it gets done. And then,
Yep. And I don't know if we talked about this last week because we kind of made this decision last week. Like, you're helping me go through titles.
Yep. Absolutely.
I decided that I don't need you to take photos of it.
Right. I'm no longer taking photos.
Unless there's something super specialized. I'll pull things aside that I'm like, this is super specialized and like nobody knows what this is but me, or I need to really research it. So I don't let anyone. It's like 5 things right now. So that's going to be the same with you, where little salt shakers and cool little... No, our helpers are doing those things. You don't need to do those things. So what I need help with, and this is what you've been doing, is you kind of sift through their listings where you're like, okay, this title, well, we would call it this.
Well, I now go through, so after they do their
scheduled listings.
I basically go through, clean everything up.
Yeah.
They don't always know what things are, and,
right.
and I do, and I write it all out.
Yeah.
And then you do the final pass where you price it.
I price it.
What you think it should get priced
and
at, because you're the best pricer.
I make 100% sure it's in a good category, too. Because sometimes I'm like, nah, this should be in a collectibles category, not a regular, like, home and garden category.
Right.
So we've been cranking through listings. We listed a ton of stuff last week.
210 items.
We listed like 200 items last week between the 3 of us, you know. Because I was really feeling like I just could not keep up. I'm like, I can't keep up. Like, I have to sort through every single listing because I want that quality in our store. I want to be able to be like, this is what it is. Like those bandanas. I had to do the research instead of being like, $30.
I mean, we've talked about this. I think a lot of sellers have this fantasy of like they can teach someone else how to run the business, and then they can just go and buy stuff, dump it off, and it gets listed and priced, and they don't have to do anything. And I mean, we've just argued amongst ourselves, like, we know that no matter what, we have to, if we want to make the kind of money we make, we have to be a part of at least the final pricing.
The final say.
Because I just think we cannot trust somebody to price these weird items.
Look, my mom makes fun of me constantly. She's always like, oh, I saw your listing for this thing, and it's like 10 times the price of everyone else's. And I'm like, and I always say, I'm like, if I don't price high, I'm not going to get that price.
Right.
I will take an offer if I believe it's a reasonable offer, but...
I love your mom. She will, you'll list one of these crazy items, and she will,
Immediately see. I'm like, what is she? You're getting alerts on your phone of my sold? It's like, how is this happening?
Why is this lamp worth so much? What is this?
It's funny because she must not have looked at my solds because she hasn't seen the bandanas yet. I'm sure she's going to be like, what the heck?
There's a new baby in the family. So.
Yeah, my brother and his wife just had a tiny little baby.
So she's in
grandma mode.
Yeah, she's like the first time grandma mode.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put Ryan on the spot here.
Okay.
2 things.
Yes.
Auctions.
Yes.
Are you now kind of not wanting to do auctions? Like, I mean, so. Because we have a helper, we're like getting through stuff quickly, and we're like always like almost out of inventory. Yeah. And the best way for us to get inventory is go to an auction, get a truckload of stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been really like, let's go to auctions, and
I really
and you're like, I don't want to go.
I really don't like auctions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's tough though because I don't want to be like just go by yourself. Because it's a lot of work. It's a long day. It's a long drive usually. I think here's the difference. You think about auctions and you're like, I'm so excited. Let's make it happen. And I think about auctions and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get up early. I don't want to drive there. I don't want to be there all day. I don't want to compete with other people. I don't want to spend money. It's like, so what benefit does me going.
So let's make an executive decision right now. So how about I just go to the auctions and buy everything?
That's a good decision.
And I can spend up to $10,000.
See, that's what scares me. Is I'm like, you don't have a problem spending money, but I do.
Just to be clear, I make good bets.
No, you do. I mean, that was my second. That was going to be my second point. Is like, because sometimes I'm afraid to not be like so frugal. I'm like, but
you
the thing is, like,
pass up on tables that
right, and I wouldn't be aggressive, and I would just be like, I don't want to pay more than $30. And Jay's like, oh, I'll pay $100. I'm like, oh my god, but like those bandanas came from one of those auctions.
Yep. It was,
and I have more, and I have more bandanas.
They were, again, those bandanas were. It's one of those things where we bought a table. It was like in a box. That's not what we were.
Right, it was like buried at the bottom of a fabric box.
And it's something that we had elicited everything, and they were in the fine. Like,
yeah, it was like the last of the last.
I have a bin where I just put the stuff that I hate. I'm just like, I don't give a heck about any of this stuff.
Yeah, it's just this junk.
We went through it all, and you were like, yeah, we'll list this.
We'll sell those. So. We'll sell them for a couple bucks.
And you're so good.
Because I am like scavenger till death, where I'm
what
like
is that? What is that, like a broken button? I'll sell that thing.
I'm not that bad, but I have this like little sandwich bag in my office, and it's got like 5 tiny little things in it. One is like a thing of old mints from the 40s that are like, congratulations, it's a boy. I'm like, I'm selling those. Like, I think I can sell it. Like, I've sold the weirdest stuff sometimes. Yep. And you're like, no, I think my helpers must be like, what is going on here? Like, sometimes, so what happens when our helpers come over, we'll lay stuff out. Like, this is what I expect to be done today. I'll go through stuff with them, and I'm like, okay, this is a such and such. And then I think about it. I'm like, I know it's crazy that you're listing this thing, but I swear to God, I've sold these before. And they're like, okay, just like,
okay. So then why don't we do that? I will.
Are you going to an auction this week then? I don't know. I gotta look at the calendar.
I'll see.
It's a crazy
I'm gonna but think about it, but I'm gonna just assume that I'm gonna be going solo. It does make it tougher to do an auction on my own, just because. That means, I have to keep up with the auction. So when I buy a table, I have to wait to like do it. But that one auction I did go to alone when you were up in New York, I did good because I really planned everything I wanted to buy.
Yeah, so you had breaks in between. And
so I knew I had 10 minutes between when I had to jump back in. So I would go box up, or at least I'd take the stuff that was important,
right,
and then run out, put it in the truck, come back in. It's
I know it does. I'm
a shark.
Like, I'm okay. Shark. I'm okay with like organizing stuff, but just it's fine. The rest of it, I'm like, ugh.
I also enjoy talking to people and stuff.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good like that.
Okay, the other thing I'm going to put you on the spot on.
Oh, it's something else?
Yep. Ink Frog.
Oh my God. I signed up for Ink Frog.
Oh, what's the holdup? Like,
it's a fear. It's just like this whole new thing.
Sadness.
Do you want to answer the question? Because I'll just sit here and listen to you talk. It's so annoying. No, it's a pain in the ass to like learn something new. So I have to go in and I have to look at their tutorials. I signed up on the second store.
Yeah, no, look, in all seriousness, I know. I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly.
I know. So I don't want to do it. Like, I totally get it.
So I'm just sort of like, okay, I signed up. I have to look at the tutorials. I have to see how to sync it up, and can I download those listings and put them on another store?
So there's not a button that just says import my store.
I mean, there is, and I don't see any option for doing eBay. So there's got to be a different way to do it. They have like a YouTube like tutorial walkthrough thing that I have to watch that I haven't done yet, and Yeah, I just have to do it. It's new, it's uncomfortable, it's
Yep.
annoying. I have a million other things to do during the week that
It
I'm
could
like,
change our lives.
right, sure, fine.
Because
like,
two things can happen. Number one is we can get rid of our second store,
Right.
and import those old items into our main store. But also, we could have our other helper a list from her home, without having full access to our account. We can just give her just like a
login,
a limited
for
account.
her laptop,
Right. Which would be nice.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like with anything in our business where, you have to do shipping policies or you have to hire a new helper. It's like super uncomfortable and like a learning process, and you're just like, I'd rather just not do anything. So that's what it is.
I'm glad that
I did sign up.
Yep, I know.
So
and again, I thank you for doing that. Mm-hmm. You're the best.
Yeah.
But I will say I do things that we both don't want to do.
Yes, I know.
And I do it for us.
I know you do.
Like I talk to a new people.
Yep. I don't like doing that either.
Get on the phone.
No.
So is this thing gonna get done?
Yeah, you're good at that.
Yeah. Let's answer questions.
Can we answer questions
that
already?
People sent in?
You can email us an audio file, which we're going to listen to now.
Because they're often, as long as people aren't in the car, they're often very clear.
Yes, they sound very good. Or you can call our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486.
And those can also be clear if you aren't in the car.
Yeah, please don't call when you're driving. I've noticed that I think all of our calls in the last few weeks have not been people driving, so that's very helpful. But honestly, like...
There is a thing with, like, it seems like eBay and cars, like, a lot of those videos that people post on YouTube is, like, a camera on the dashboard and people are driving and they're just like talking about their eBay store.
And I get it, because when you're driving, you're like, I might as well do this while I'm driving, because I'm not like doing other things. I'm like stationary and I'm sitting here, but
it's just such a weird, crazy world.
Look, my sister always calls me when she's driving. She's like, oh, I'm not doing like a million other things. I'm just sitting here, and I can barely hear her. She's like cutting out every 5 minutes because she's driving in like rural Massachusetts. I'm like, this is a horrible experience. Like, can you just call me when you're at home on Skype? Like, let's just...
Hi, Jay and Ryan. I wonder if you can help. My girlfriend has sold something quite a while ago, 79 days, in fact, ago, and the buyer has now, through PayPal, put an unauthorised claim in to say that they didn't receive it or the transaction wasn't authorised. Obviously, my girlfriend sent it to the address as you would, as it's sold on eBay. She now can no longer find their address through eBay because they don't hold that information. PayPal won't help because we didn't have a tracking and she didn't keep proof of postage. So essentially, we need to find their address on eBay to show that they bought the item, and then obviously the address is there as a result of purchasing. So PayPal won't help refund or look into it unless we can find that address. So that debiting the delivery and the cost of the item, plus a further, I think it is £14 for the transaction. If you know how to find an old address from a buyer that eBay no longer has on their system, would be really grateful. And it's just really annoying that we can't find any resolution via eBay or PayPal currently. That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, a couple things. Number one, finding the address. Now, eBay should have emailed you when they purchased it, and usually their address is on there. I think it is. Also, PayPal emails you, and their address is on that PayPal.
And that's something I know that you do very well. All of our emails go into a Gmail account.
Right, so I don't delete those.
Gmail has like unlimited storage, basically.
So there's that. So you should look for that item number or whatever the item was called in your email, in her email, and you should have the address there somewhere. Also, if you can see the original PayPal transaction in your account, you should be able to see 90 days worth of transactions. Their address should be in there. Like, their information should be there, because if they're opening a claim on PayPal, the original transaction should be there somewhere. The other problem I hear is there wasn't tracking. So you actually cannot say that it got delivered.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to blame the victim here, but really...
But that's your proof of delivery.
The tracking is this thing that always protects us, and we've won 100% of cases on PayPal and eBay if we have a tracking, because we can say it got delivered. It got there. Maybe it got stolen off your porch, maybe blah, 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 but... We
did everything we were supposed to. So that's kind of an issue. But in terms of finding the address, check your email for the PayPal email or the eBay email. It sounds like you didn't have tracking, so you didn't print. I don't even know. If you're in the UK, you can't really print. I don't know if you can print like UK postage on there.
Do they have computers in England?
I have no idea. But it's like in Canada, like eBay doesn't do like Canada postage, I don't think. So you have to like do it yourself, either on their website or at the post office. It's not like here where you just like print a, first class, whatever. Like, so maybe they didn't have tracking, so that kind of stinks.
Hi, Jay and Ryan. It's Karen, Lavender Clothesline. Figured I'd just give a quick call. I was speaking with eBay representative because of the amount of glitches on my site. I had 650 items doubly relist themselves when I used the bulk editing tool, so that took me quite a while to fix. But while I was on the phone, one of the representatives said that the photo glitch, where some of the photos are disappearing, there's a workaround. And it doesn't work every time, but if the seller just goes into that listing and adds an additional photo just of a white background. Sometimes when they close that out, the missing photos reappear. So you just have to add a photo, just make it a blank photo so that it can stay in the listing. And that works sometimes. Figured I'd share that. And they also shared that the missing views on a lot of listings is because browsers did an update for I guess it was a security privacy update. So it was not allowing eBay to collect the data of who was viewing an item. They could collect the watching data because that was the buyer, clicking that they wanted to watch the item. But that's what happened with views. So just figured I'd share that. Love the show, gets better and better, and appreciate all you do. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I heard a couple workarounds that are similar to that, but never had any success with them. Nobody that I talked to ever had success with them. She's saying upload a blank, white background photo, so basically it looks like nothing, and then some of them would reappear. Or one of the reps told me you can go and revise the listing, don't do anything, and then press save, and then some of them should come back. And everybody who we talked to on the forums or even just through email was like, nope, didn't work for me.
So she said that 600 items?
She said 600 items double listed themselves through the bulk lister. I've never heard of that. That is like, oh my God, I don't know how that even happened. I have some theories as to how that could happen, but it seems a little bit crazy. That's a bummer. Yeah, that sounds like a pain.
I mean, I guess the other positive thing is this is happening in the summertime when things are a little bit slow. Man, sure. I'm glad these things... It just makes you think like... I mean, I'd rather have them like get this out of their system now, so when Christmas time comes, like,
right,
they've gotten it to a stable place. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone must be on vacation because those were the only 2 calls.
Or just everyone's just happy.
Yeah, there's no problem. Cool. There's no questions. Okay, that is it for the podcast today. You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discussed and to join the conversation on the forum. You can leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line. Again, that phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file question at thescavengerlife, all one word, at gmail.com. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video, currently being brought to you by Steven Schultz. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube so you always get the latest episode. And before we go, there are some weekday openings at our vacation rental farmhouse this month in July. So I know Scavengers have flexible schedule. If you want to come enjoy the most beautiful part of the country in the Shenandoah Valley during the summer beautiful season.
And we're willing to do scavenger discounts.
Yes, so on the blog there is a link up top that says our rentals. So you can click through there and see our calendar.
And book through there.
We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1.